All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're cracking open a true classic, a book that claims it holds a secret to success passed down from one of the wealthiest men in history. We're talking about Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. So, what is this life-changing secret really? Let's dive in and see if we can find it.
So let me just ask you this. What if a secret formula for riches actually existed? And I'm not talking about some shady get-rich-quick scheme, but a real, repeatable philosophy for success. That's the electrifying question right at the heart of this entire book.
And this wasn't just a hypothetical. This question was actually asked, for real, way back in 1908. The person asking? None other than the industrial titan Andrew Carnegie. And the man he challenged to find the answer was a young journalist named Napoleon Hill. Now, Carnegie's challenge was massive. Seriously, he gave Hill a mission that would take over 20 years to complete. He had to go out and study more than 500 of the most successful men in America. We're talking heavy hitters like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and John D. Rockefeller, and then boil down everything you learned into one single, usable formula. The whole point was to create a roadmap that anyone, and he meant anyone, could use to achieve their dreams. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. Hill kind of teases this secret all through the book. He says it shows up in pretty much every single chapter, just waiting for those who are ready to see it. So let's follow the clues together. Think of it like a treasure hunt. The very first clue Hill gives us is right here. He says the starting point of all achievement is desire. But, and this is a really important but, he's not talking about just wishing for something or kind of hoping it happens. That distinction, that's our first big clue. The kind of desire Hill is talking about has to be a burning desire. You have to think of it more like an all-consuming obsession, a single definite purpose that you focus on with the intensity of a laser. That, he says, is the true beginning of any great achievement. To make that desire real, to make it concrete, Hill lays out 6 super practical steps. First, you have to be crystal clear. Fix the exact amount of money you want. No fuzzy numbers. Second, decide exactly what you're going to give in return, because there's no such thing as a free lunch. Third, set a definite date. Fourth, create a definite plan. Then, you write it all down. And finally, here's the kicker. You read that statement out loud twice a day every day. The whole point is to see, feel, and believe that you already have it. Hill says this is literally how you program your subconscious mind for success. But okay, a burning desire on its own isn't going to get you there. It's like a car with a destination but no gas in the tank. It needs an engine. And that engine, according to Napoleon Hill, is made of 2 key things: unwavering faith and relentless persistence. And to really illustrate this, he tells one of the most famous stories in the entire book. It's called 3 Feet from Gold, and it's this powerful, almost tragic story about what happens when your persistence just runs out a little too soon. So the story goes like this. There's a guy, R.U. Darby, and his uncle, and they catch gold fever. They find a vein of shimmering gold ore. They invest everything they have in machinery, and they're positive they're about to be rich beyond their wildest dreams. But then, the vein just vanishes. It's gone. They keep drilling, but they find absolutely nothing. And so, they gave up. They just quit. They sold all their equipment to a junk man for a few $100 and went home totally defeated. But the junk man, he was a little savvier. He hired a mining engineer who came out, took a look, and realized that the first guys had failed simply because they didn't understand fault lines. The engineer did some quick math and figured out the gold was waiting just 3 feet from where Darby had stopped drilling. And yeah, the junk man went on to make millions from that very same month. The lesson here is so incredibly powerful, and Hill sums it up perfectly. Failure cannot cope with persistence. Most of us quit at the first sign of what feels like defeat, but that's all it is, a temporary setback. Real success is so often waiting just on the other side of that feeling. Okay, so you've got the burning desire. You've got the persistence to see it through when things get tough. But you still need a map, right? You need a blueprint for action. How do you actually create a plan that works? This is where Hill introduces another one of his really famous concepts, the mastermind.
He defines it as this coordination of knowledge and effort, a kind of harmonious alliance between two or more people, all gunning for the same exact goal. It's like creating a third, invisible, super powerful mind that's way more than just the sum of its parts. The power of this is all about teamwork. Hill's point is that no one, and he means no one, succeeds all by themselves. When you form a mastermind, you get to tap into the brains, the experience, the imagination of other people. You build better plans. And get this, Andrew Carnegie, the guy who kicked this whole thing off, he attributed his entire fortune to the power of his mastermind group, a group that had 50 people in it. Okay, let's take a breath. We've gathered the clues. A burning desire, fueled by faith and persistence, and guided by a plan we've built with a mastermind. We are now ready for the final reveal. This is where every single piece comes together to show us the ultimate secret of the book. So, what is it? What is the big secret that Andrew Carnegie sent Napoleon Hill on a 20-year journey to find? I'll tell you right now, it is not a magic trick. It's not some complicated formula. It's something much, much more fundamental. The secret, in Hill's own words, and he puts it in all caps for a reason, is this. Both poverty and riches are the offspring of thought. That's it. That's the idea that the entire philosophy is built on. So the real takeaway is that the secret isn't an action you take, it's a power you already have. You can control your financial destiny because you have the absolute power to control what goes on inside your own head. Hill believed our brains act like magnets. They become magnetized by our dominant thoughts, and they start attracting the people, the situations, and the opportunities that match those thoughts. Desire, faith, persistence, those are just the tools you use to aim the magnet. The ultimate message of this book, then, is one of total empowerment. It puts everything back in your court. You have the power to control your thoughts. So the only question left to answer is, what will you choose to build with that power?